Got to give the people. Get the people. I should stop it. What they want. People. I want to do some math because, that's how we roll. Math all day, every day. I'm going to end this one with a joke. I got a good one for you. You're going to enjoy it.
Sure.
It's really good.
It's very...
Alright, so anyways, what I need you to do is write this down. Make this graph, just like so. You see the points. Write this down. Cool, you did that. So here's the situation. My daughter was practicing her high ball toss with me, and it was modeled by the function over here. Your job is to tell me what is the equation, and you're going to use your knowledge of transformations to do so. So I'm going to walk you through two ways. One of them will be just going straight with the equation. Another way will be using, what are those things called? Gym tables. Alright, so first off, I see that this looks like it is a quadratic, which means my parent function would say y equals x squared. And I'm thinking about the different transformations that have to happen to it. I notice that said quadratic, this parabola is upside down, so I know I need a negative in here. There's my first transformation. I also know that it has a critical point. It should have a critical point of 0, 0. That would be like right here. Except it doesn't. I see that this 0 has been shifted over to the right 5. So I know all of a sudden I gotta put some shifts in here. So I'm gonna start rewriting this. I'm gonna say, well, I know this is negative. I know it's an x, and it's gonna go minus 5 squared. So that accounts for this shift 5 for my critical point. Well, my critical point is also raised 8 spaces, so I'm gonna put a plus 8 here. Feeling pretty good about myself, so I'm gonna see, does this actually model this parabola? And I'm gonna use 4, 6. Okay, so y equals 6, x equals 4. Put the right numbers there this time, and let's see what happens. 4 minus 5 is negative 1 squared plus 8 times negative 1. This is all 6's. Negative 1 squared is 1 times negative 1. This is a 6. This is negative 1 plus 8. This is 7 equals 6. Not so good. That means I'm missing something. There's one more possible transformation I could have. So there must be some kind of stretch or compression in this. So let's go back and think, where did we go wrong? Okay? This 8's not going to change. But what I see is, if I want this to turn into a 6, I don't want this right here to be negative 1. I actually want this to turn into negative 2. Well, again, this negative 1 squared isn't going to change. But this, we assumed, was negative 1. So we can actually change that. We can give it a little bit of a stretch. So I'm going to go back here. And I'm going to say, well, I knew this was negative, but I didn't for sure know that it was negative 1. I actually want it to be negative 2. I want to have a bigger stretch in there. So now, let's see what happens if we use that stretch. Again, I'm going to use 4, 6. So y is 6, x is 4. And I see that this is still that negative 1 squared because none of that will change. But now we have that stretch of 2. Negative 1 squared is 1 times negative 2 plus 8. Negative 2 plus 8, look at that, happens to equal 6. So this thing got stretched by a factor of 2. I probably want to go through and check it to make sure that it worked for another one. I'm not going to right now. It does, but that's one way to do it. You can look at the different transformations and work through the equation as you know. All right, guys, remember that one time when I was like, yeah, we're going to do it this way by hand, and then we're going to do it with a Gemma table, so I'm going to show you 2 different ways. I lied. We're just going to do it by hand. I actually realized it was doing too much doing it with a Gemma table. It's actually unnecessary. What's most necessary is that you think about the transformations and the critical point and how they move a graph. You fill them in there, and sometimes you got to change that stretch or shrink. You got to make sure that that actually works out. So you have one example of that here. You're going to do some more work with that in class next time. That's all I got. Oh wait, I do got a joke for you. This one is straight from Ariana Bass. What did the Pacific Ocean say to the Atlantic Ocean when they met? Nothing. They just waved at each other. I'm out.